And welcome to another episode of Next Level Real Talk Podcast with Sheldon and David. David, how's it going?
Doing well. It's been a great couple weeks, and I know we haven't had a podcast if you're following for a couple weeks. We just kind of just take a little break. It's
Yep.
summertime,
Yep.
for the reality of where we are, and so we got a great talk today. We're going to talk about some service stuff. How
Yep.
have you been doing, Sheldon? By the way, so I know you've
Awesome.
been
Awesome. And
traveling. So
also a reminder that next week we'll be off again. So both of us have
yep.
stuff going on. So
hmm
um but our what is our tagline for the podcast? Journeys.
So our true podcast. Um, Whoops. Got that way down there. Conversations on the journey of personal transformation and the pursuit of lasting peace and happiness. So
Yes.
that's what we're talking about that
Yeah.
how to have that peace and happiness, and that's what we've always talked about. And we've talked about meditation, going through hard times, going through this. But what if you're okay where you are and you're in a good spot? What are things you can do to help keep you there? What things can you do
Yeah.
that pursue peace and
Right.
happiness,
Right.
even in your good state at that point?
Right. And how do you maybe take it to another level, maybe deepen
hmm
it a little bit, maybe expand that. I think that we talk about, obviously finding peace within your own self is meditation, right? And then how do you
hmm
kind of expand that and deepen it and as a pathway to that, right? We were talking
Yeah.
about before the recording, service, being in
Yeah.
service as a
Mhm.
path to peace and happiness, as a path to expanding and deepening that, and maybe even finding it through that, right? Service,
Mhm.
acts of service, um, helping somebody beyond yourself. It kind of shifts your mindset away from you and your worries and your fears and your
Mhm.
stuff, and being a little bit self-centered in that regard, which we all have to a certain extent. We got to provide food for ourselves, right? But how do you get
Yep.
out of that mindset and into the mindset of um, helping somebody else, and what does that look like, right? And
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
think, what does service look like? Because it
And
doesn't. Go
yeah, and
ahead.
a lot of people, they may be head of a charity, head of a group that does that kind of stuff. Yes, that's a job because that's their job. But if they step back from that job, mentally, emotionally, whatever, and say, "What are we doing?" Oh, well, we're serving these people. We're serving this
Mhm.
situation. Um, and you get that feeling like, "Oh, this is what I'm doing." Like sometimes, like, what am I? Like a teacher, I'll sit there and go, like, hey, people, yes, we're doing this, but step back. What are we doing? We're doing this for
Yeah.
this group of kids right here. That's why we're doing it. And I did Avid. It was like, yeah, I'm teaching. So
Yep.
it's my job. Okay, I'll go to work, teach to Avid kids. These are Avid kids that will be the first to ever go to college in their family. We're
Yeah.
breaking that cycle.
Yeah.
So you step back, like, what am I doing? I'm like, oh, so I'm helping these kids that are like, I'm not going anywhere, probably, that want to go somewhere. So you're that in its way, I'm getting paid, but I'm doing a service at the same time. If you
Hmm.
feel that in your heart, going like, yeah,
Yes.
this is I got a purpose. This is a
Yes.
purpose what I'm doing. So
Yeah. And yeah, I think looking at the aspects of your role in work, a- as an act of service, right?
mhm,
I guess is what we're saying, right? Because even for what I do, and I train GMs on running body shops, right? But so much of what I'm doing, it's kind of like you as a coach, is supporting that person and believing in them that they can even do it,
mhm,
you know, and giving
yeah.
them some tools for dealing with the stress of that, giving them some tools for handling all of the emotional aspects of their role, not just the practical, fundamental processes, right? We do that too, but there's a lot of it that goes beyond that. And you were mentioning earlier, like a nonprofit that does stuff, and that was actually one of the things that has been coming up for me, is this idea of feeding the homeless, right? Just
Mhm,
it's something that came up about 2 weeks ago. I mentioned that to you before we were recording, that I started crying when I was thinking about it. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just that feeling that there's a lot of people out there that, are struggling.
yeah.
And
Mhm,
and uh, I am by no means, you know, rich in the or wealthy, I
mhm,
guess you'd say, rich in so many things in life, right? But not
mhm.
like
Not
monetarily, right?
monetary. Yeah, monetary,
But
yeah.
I have a house, a roof over my head, and can pay all the
Mhm.
bills and all of that stuff. And is there a way that, you know, uh, I could be
That
of
you can
service to other people in a way? more than what I'm doing, right?
Mhm.
Which sometimes is a part of that mindset of more, more, more. We always need to do more. What
Yeah.
I'm doing is never enough. So there's a
Mhm.
battle there, right? But I think it
Yep.
this because of the and the way I look at it is like I started crying when I started thinking about it, and so for me, that sometimes is my indicator that maybe this is something I should pursue, right? Something,
Mhm. Yeah.
but short of that, and I guess what I was you were saying earlier is some people work for a nonprofit. Some people are working in a church and that's what they do, and that's in their
Mhm.
title, but it doesn't have to be like that.
Exactly. If you go in at just a job, then it is just a job. But as you're doing your job, you can see what services are you doing for people.
Yeah.
You know, comes helping this person comes in. Let's say it's a church person comes in, they're crying, they're having money problems. Okay, the church is going to support you on this. Hey, the church is going to do this. You know, it's what service can you step back and see what you're already doing and saying, okay, instead of going like, okay, I'm going to work, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Work, okay, work is kind of boring, but wait, as I'm working, I'm helping these people do this. I'm doing a
Yeah.
service.
And
What is
and
the good part of my job, which is the
yeah.
service you're doing?
And not underestimating the impact that you can make in even the most common, seemingly trivial interactions that you have during the day.
Mhm.
Right? You can
Yep.
change somebody's day just by saying hi or just by being kind, just by that moment of compassion that, a little bit of interaction.
Mhm.
Um,
I mean, and being sincere about it. I mean,
yeah,
like we could be walking, chilling. I could be walking, crossing paths. Say, hey, how you doing? Everybody says, how you doing? What do I expect when I say how you're doing?
yeah, fine.
Basically nothing. I don't.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just being nice.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
But I'll never forget some kids from my class after the divorce. Years past it, they were at a basketball game. I think I've said it before. They were at one of the North basketball games, and I announced basketball. And they came up and said, "Hey, how you doing?" Gave them both a hug. It was one boy, one girl. Hadn't seen in a while, and gave them a hug. And the boy goes, "Coach, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm fine. Oh,
Yeah,
what that normal? How you doing? I'm
yeah,
fine. Move
yeah,
on." And I go, "I'm fine. I'm doing great." He's like, took his finger right on my face. He goes, "No, I'm asking you how you're doing." Like, no, I know that's a
yeah,
good answer, but how are
yeah.
you doing
Really doing
inside from
yeah,
the divorce? And oh,
really.
dude, I truly I'm doing well. Not asking how you
Yeah,
doing and walking away. Just, dude. And if you know someone's been going through stuff, you say, "How you doing?" I'm okay. Okay, I need to know really how you're doing.
yeah,
And that's the way my lawyer in the divorce was.
yeah,
I said, I mean, she's a lawyer.
yeah,
I will tell you when Wendy came in, it's like, oh God, I'm paying more money. Because
yeah,
usually you get the you get the assistant. She'd come in, she'd have the book open, and there's just examples of how you can do this. And she goes, "Hey, how you doing?" I go, "I'm doing fine." Obviously, I'm going through hell. I go, "I'm doing fine." She'd slam the book shut, the binder shut. She goes, "I'm asking you, how are you doing? I need to hear
yeah.
what's going
Let's
on."
talk. Give
I
me
start crying a little bit, and we talk a little bit. She goes, "You're gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay." But you know what? She took that little time to say, "No,
yeah,
I need to know where you are."
yeah.
And allowing me to say that to somebody, and get it out helped me. And that kid just saying, "No, I want to really know how you're doing," helped
And
me.
and if you want a great, and that's beautiful, dude. But if you want a great, if you're listening to this and you listen to our podcast, and you want a great example of that, you should go back to last week's interview with Mark Myers
Mm,
because
mhm.
exactly what no, how are you really
Yep.
doing? That changed his life, changed the direction of his life. Literally, has changed the direction of his life. Is a total stranger, um,
Yep.
you know,
Walked right by him.
walking right by, getting an impact, a guidance, divinely inspired guidance, if you wanna call it that, to stop and, "No, you need to talk to that guy." He didn't even know who he was,
Yeah.
right? And came into his
And
office.
he went past his office and
Yeah,
said, "Whoa." Came back and said, "Are you okay? What's going on?" It's like, so one, that tells you as an individual need to be open and be
yeah,
receptive to what's going on. Like if someone walks through my library, I need to say like, "Hey, everything okay?" You just kind of see by their face, or just if you get that gut feeling, be willing to ask.
yeah, yeah,
And if they're willing to open up, be willing to take that time and be
yeah,
honest.
yes. So
Because if you're busy and you say, "How you doing?" and someone starts talking to you, you got to be there.
yeah.
So,
So those are all acts of service, right? Being in
mhm.
service to others, and being aware of how the power of that interaction, because it can be very simple, and it can be as simple as asking how are you doing, but really, really meaning it and really going beyond just the surface, superficial, I'm fine kind of thing and moving on
Exactly.
and taking it to the next level, right? That's what this is all about, right? Next level real
Mhm,
talk is how do you get into that next level is sometimes taking a moment. You have to obviously appreciate the power of that, right? So that you do
mhm,
that and being a vessel for that and being open to saying, okay, that will be who I am, or, can I brighten someone's day today or whatever,
mhm.
and getting yourself out of that mindset of what's going on in my life and what do I have to worry about? And oh my God, my bills and my life and being so, centered in your world to looking at somebody else's world and how can I maybe make them feel a little better. I will tell you just,
Yeah. Mhm.
I rent cars every week, right? Because I'm traveling all over. And the other day I was renting a car and there was a big old line, which oftentimes I don't have to go to the counter. But anyway, there's a big line this particular. I was like, wow. And then by the time I get to the front, there's 10 people behind me. And I was just like, how you doing, man? This looked like a busy day for you guys. I'm like, wow, it's busy. And she's just like, oh my God, yeah, totally busy. And I could see that shifter. Like, she smiled at
Mm,
me, she shifted, just like,
mm.
"Man, you guys look like you're busy today, hope everything's going well."
Like
Something. Just
acknowledge them.
acknowledge that, yeah, she's
Mhm.
got a lot going on right now. And then there was a weirdness in the billing, and I could see her getting tight again, my billing, and I said, "You know what? Can I take care of that when I check the car in at the end of the week?" And she's like, "Yeah, absolutely." And I said, "All right, you got a big line here. I'll let that go, and I'll take care of it later." And she's like, "Cool, awesome," and just
Mhm.
those little tiny interactions, can, maybe it's just making their afternoon a little bit easier, right? That
Yeah.
one interaction a little bit easier, but sometimes it can be, life-changing. Like our
The
last episode, that
Mhm.
moment of checking in and saying how you're doing changed a human being's life for forever,
Yeah, and you
right?
truly need to listen to that podcast because he
Yeah.
was down the path of he shouldn't have been on that podcast
Yep. Yep.
if Tommy had not come and saw him
Yeah.
walking by his
And
office.
we are working on getting that guy in here.
Yeah. So we're not gonna give away at all, but you really do have to listen because it's like,
Yeah.
wow,
It's beautiful.
that one
Beautiful.
person, one moment.
Yeah.
And as we talk about service, obviously when people said, "Yeah, I gotta do community service, you gotta do service, you gotta do this," it does there's several levels of that.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, like I was telling Sheldon before, like I used to sit there and people would come in and talk to me in the library and I'm typing and I'm not paying attention because they're talking to me. This is even when I was teaching because I was so busy. But
Yeah.
it's like I don't have time to interact. I'm working. Why are you talking to me, basically?
Yep.
So I'm not paying attention, and then the conversation goes on.
And
I
you'd probably get
sometimes
irritated too, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
You'd feel a little bit of this like, "God damn, can't you see I'm
yeah,
busy?" or whatever.
yeah, and
Those
that's
things
what
are
it
going on
was.
in the brain.
Mhm. So that was me. That was my
Yeah.
problem. And at one point, I don't know what got me to the point. I said, "You know what? This is not working. I got to make this work." And so I sat down and go, "Wait a minute. If I'm doing something and someone comes in and needs a question and wants to talk, I'd now say, can you give me 1 second to finish the sentence? I don't got to finish the whole email or finish the whole project. Just let me get to the step that I'm through,
Yeah.
you know, and then I can know, okay,
A
I'm
good
here.
stopping point. I need a stopping point.
Yes,
Let me get to the
exactly.
stopping point.
And then I go, give me that moment. I'll finish it and I'm going to give you my 100% attention. So then I actually turn and I get away from my desk and go stand up and talk to them. Okay. So now
Yeah.
and that one allows me to be able to talk to that person one on one,
Mhm.
and I give them my attention. And many times, yes, I'm helping them. I don't know. Or maybe that one conversation, they just need to talk to somebody real quick.
Mhm.
But I've learned that them talking to me and me taking that time is like, wow, I felt good, you know, a chance to relax instead of stress out at work. I'm talking to somebody.
Yep.
So it actually went both ways. I didn't plan on it being something good for me. It
Yep.
was something good, like, hey, they need my attention. Um, that's one huge thing.
Yep.
Okay, so yes, I'm working. That's kind of a service. The other service is just kind of is the real full blown. You're going out, you're feeding the homeless. I'm going to cook this food, or I'm going to go out with the church. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do a mission trip somewhere, or
Yep.
whatever you're going to do. That's true service, which I understand. But all of it's service.
Yeah.
Their everyday life can be a service. So don't think when we're talking about service, what they want me to go out, feed the homeless every Sunday,
And
or they want me to go on a mission to
and I don't think
Uganda.
any
No,
one is any less than the other either.
nope. Mm-mm.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to Uganda on a mission trip for a week or 2.
That's
That's a lot
beautiful.
different than me just sitting there
Yeah.
talking to
Yeah.
somebody as they're walking through. But each makes a difference,
Yes.
okay? And
Yeah.
one of my famous sayings, it's, the difference of 1 degree.
Yeah.
It's like, uh, water, You got water at, I think it's 272 degrees is water. At
Yeah.
273, it's boiling water.
211,
So
212. Yeah.
is that, yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. 211,
Yep.
212. Thank you. Well, but that's always been my saying with
Yeah.
my swim team too. The difference of
Yeah.
1 degree. Give
Yeah.
that one extra degree.
Yeah.
And that
What's the difference
one,
of a tenth or a hundredth of a second in swimming? You can be first
right?
and second place all day long.
Exactly.
Happens all the
Totally.
time, man. Hundredth of a second,
Right?
So
Happens
boom.
in the Olympics everywhere, yeah.
Yep.
And so that my little thing of at school, I see a kid that needs something or just talking to him, "Hey, what's going on today? How you doing?" That one thing could be just as big as going to Uganda for 2 weeks.
Yep.
I don't know. So everything you do, just know that you have the chance to say, and by the way, when you do service, if you're doing it for the right reasons, it fills your heart because you're starting to feel and if you're coming from your heart, it's going to be a great service.
Yeah.
If you do it for the right reasons from your heart, it actually starts filling your heart up even more. You
Yeah.
start getting that. The service helps you,
Yeah.
and it boomerangs right back at you.
Yeah.
So know that even little things, you don't have to do the big things.
Yeah.
I encourage you to, because those are so rewarding,
Yeah.
by the way. But
In
yeah. So
Buddhism, they
what's
talk
that?
about in Buddhism, they all, it's like they talk about karma, right? What goes around
Hmm.
comes around kind of thing, right? And I think it was the Dalai Lama used to kind of like jokingly say, you know, I'm being selfish, so I help everybody all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Because he knows that it comes around and it knows that it fills his heart and he feels better doing it. So what does
Yeah.
he do is I want to help people all the time because it makes me feel so good. So in this
Hmm.
funny way, I'm almost being selfish because I know I feel great doing it. So I'm going around doing all it's a joke
Yeah.
and he's joking because you're right. You have obviously doing it from the right place. And I did also want to say that, part of I think the process of getting to that place where you really are doing it from the right place, as you're saying, is loving and honoring
Hmm.
yourself,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because when you're loving and honoring yourself, that's when and some people will like, oh, people are always asking me for favors or want to talk to me, so I'm going to do it because I have to, because that's what a good person
Hmm.
does. But I'm really irritated, and that's when you kind of like just get irritated as you're typing, and
Yep.
you're half-ass listening to them, right? But
Hmm.
when you learn to honor yourself, which I think you've done in that process of going
Mm.
through the divorce and the meditation,
Oh,
right?
good
Is you
point.
learned how to honor yourself, and in honoring
Hmm.
yourself, you said, "Let me finish this first." And then I'll give you my 100% attention. So you honor
Mm. Good
yourself
point.
and let me
Hmm.
finish this. Let me do what I need to do for myself, and then I can be with you fully. And
Yeah.
but in the end of doing that, not only are you honoring yourself, you're honoring them because you're saying, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to
Yeah.
be there for you, but I need to
Hmm.
finish what I need to do for me first so I can clear my mind and be present with you. That I think there's, and I think we've talked about it before in a podcast. I do think that that little example of what looks like a small shift is actually representative of this really profound shift that happens within you, right?
Hmm.
And
Yes.
then so this place of honoring ourselves and where we are, but also taking the time when we're there in the heart from this place of loving compassion, of spending a little bit of time saying, hey, how can I be of service to others? How can I
Hmm.
um, get a little bit out of worrying about myself and then into being there
Yeah.
for somebody else, but always honoring yourself first, right? And
Hmm. And it's not, we're not, I am not saying, and I assume Sheldon's the same boat. We're not saying go out every day. Okay, how can
yeah,
I do service
yeah,
today?
yeah.
No, just let it happen naturally.
Yes,
It's like
yes,
it's going to happen out there, and know, and not throwing my ego into it, but just like me, like if you're sitting there and you're doing something, you're like, this person wants to talk to me, and I'm typing, like, wait a minute, this is where I have someone needs some service.
eh,
So just be aware of something
yeah. I think
may
it's
happen throughout the day. Yeah.
opening a little space in your mind for
Hmm.
the possibility that
Yeah.
something may happen. Being open, just it's like opening yourself up to the possibility of, um,
Exactly.
maybe I can brighten someone's day today, and it doesn't
Hmm.
have to be overt. It doesn't have to be
Exactly.
some big thing. It's like,
Yeah.
um,
And a big thing is make sure you're doing it with something that you like. Like
yeah,
if I want to give service by going and fixing someone's electricity at their house,
mm,
That ain't something I'm gonna have fun, okay? That's not a real good service. Now, if I have a group of people and we're building a house or remodeling a house for someone that's in need, someone can tell me what to do,
Yeah.
and that's a service. But it's not like, well, that's not something I would normally do is go fix electricity because I'm gonna
Yeah.
shock myself and probably start a fire somewhere. Um, but if you're doing it as a group and someone says, "Hey, I need you to do this, this, and this," okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
So there is a service. So be careful that you don't do a service that you're not really enjoying
Yeah.
because that's going to bring you back. That's going to hurt
Yeah.
in here, and you're not really giving to that
That's
service
not
anyway.
honoring yourself first. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
uh, I think this is
So
just a quick little, reminder for, a little bit of that, appreciating and honoring yourself, honoring
yeah,
the magnitude of the impact that you can make with little actions, and also
and
opening space for bigger actions if you want, right?
exactly as you go through it,
Yeah,
and uh, we've said it before, you don't know the impact you make on others.
yeah,
You don't know what difference you're going to make,
yep,
and so you do. And as I look back as a coach, I've seen so many things. I'm going as a teacher. I'm going like, wow, I didn't realize that
mhm,
because you just need to do, just
mhm,
be you because you have goodness in you. We
yep,
all know that everyone has that goodness, and so quote unquote, I guess your homework would be just as you're going through the week, just kind of go, you know, and maybe in the morning say, hey, I just want to be open to maybe help somebody today.
yep,
Brightens up somebody's day.
yep,
And who knows what's going to happen? Don't go sit down at your desk and go, okay, who's going to come? Who's going to
yeah,
come? Oh,
yeah, yeah,
someone's going to come over here. I got to do something nice. No, just let it flow naturally.
yep,
And then maybe you and friends or you and family say, hey, we want to do a real big service and go do something that's big. That's
yep,
great.
yep,
You can go feed the homeless during Thanksgiving. You can go
yeah,
wrap presents for,
whatever. Yeah,
little kids or whatever. Just find what you do and enjoy the process.
yeah. Do it from the
Enjoy,
heart.
do it from the heart, and know that you're gonna make a difference somewhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think that the world needs a little bit more of that, and if we could
Mhm.
encourage even one person to do that because they're listening to this, that's what our intention is. So,
And as you
hopefully.
as you do that as you do that service and you feel your heart filling up in the proper way, um, you start to find more of that peace and happiness
Mhm,
along the road. And so it's not going to be okay. I need to go do this community service because then I'm going to be happy and that's it. I'm gonna have peace. No, it's a journey with it. It helps you through that journey.
yep,
So your meditation, your just talking to people, and then this is just one added thing that says, yeah, that's going to help me, in my journey towards peace and happiness.
yep,
So
yep.
yeah, make sure you share. Make sure you share this with people because we would love to have it out there. And
Yeah,
yeah, subscribe. Go back and listen to somewhere. Definitely, I need you to go back and listen to last
yep.
episode.
Marks.
Uh, yeah,
Mark Myers.
25 19. Mark
Yep,
Myers. It was great. It was a
yep,
great one. So, um, other than that, we hope you guys are doing well out there. Remember, next week, we won't be doing a podcast. So,
yep,
next podcast will be a couple weeks down the road. We're gonna have a little. Sheldon's gonna go have some fun time.
yep,
I'm gonna head up and have a little vacation, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
yep.
Keep that smile on.
Take care.